Hey everyone, this is Brilliant Reviews here. I was going to do this review tomorrow, but I decided to do it now because I'm just really excited to show you what it is I got sent to review from Liberator, which is a company that specialises in bedroom furniture. So that's like toy mounts and sex positioners, so different like wedges that you can get into different positions in more easier. And one of the products that they sent to me was the Fascinator Throe, which is a waterproof blanket, and it sounds like it's not that interesting, but it has been like a complete game changer for me when I'm masturbating. And for most people, they're quite interested in it, and I can understand why after I used it a couple of times. So yeah, let's just start on with the review. Starting with the packaging, it's all kind of flat now because obviously the Throe isn't in it, and I do kind of like it, but not in the way that you would expect. I mean, the pictures of the models are quite tasteful and quite sensual, so I do appreciate that. There's some info on the Throe there, if you can see that reflection. But I think you know what I'm going to say about this. I don't actually like anything else apart from the photos, because it's just plastic, it's not anything special. And you see there it's like split down the side, and that was when I tried to put the Throe back in the case, back in the packaging, after I was just having a look at it when I first received it, and it just split all the way down the side, so it's not really the best type of packaging to keep, but I've kept it for some reason, and I guess it's lucky that I have, since I'm doing a video review. Yeah, that's the packaging out of the way. So this is the Throe. I don't know if you can really see that under this light, but it's actually quite a deep red. They come in two other colours, which black and purple. And the Throe actually has two sides to it. There's this one, which is a really velvety feel. You can sort of see that. And the other side is a satin side, which is really, really lovely. I love this side the best. I'll explain in more detail about why I had different experiences with both sides, so don't worry about that. But if you can hear, it actually makes sounds, like crinkly sounds. And as I'm a person who loves ASMR, if you don't know what that is, you have to Google it, because it's just amazing. And so I always love the sound. I just kind of listen to it more than I actually use it. Not really, I'm just kidding. Slightly. So it's I'm not gonna hold it up full, like unwrap it full, because it's just gonna make my arms ache to fuck. And I really don't think it would show that well on camera anyway, because I just don't have the width to show it off. But my bed is a double, and the Throe mostly fits there. It mostly covers the whole thing, apart from maybe a few inches at the top and just along the sides of the bed. But other than that, it actually does fit quite a lot of space in my double bed, so I think that's pretty good, considering if you're using this with someone like your partner, then there's a lot of space for it to go on. So about the two sides, with the velvety side, it was actually quite interesting, because I could when I was laying on it and I was masturbating, I could sort of, my body was more sensitive, like I felt more in tune with like what my body was experiencing, and it's sort of like a really soft feeling against my skin, and it was it made masturbating kind of more interesting than it usually is. If it could, I didn't think it could get more interesting, but the Throe actually, even though it's just a waterproof blanket, it actually I think it would be quite good for sensation play, because with the satin side, it's sort of like if you wear different products are either velvety feel or like a satiny feel, sort of like if it was a satin blindfold or something like that. I know that even if you tie it around your face, a lot of people often use something else made of satin to drag over their partner's body, and it makes things quite an interesting experience. So when I was sort of writhing around on the bed with the satin side, it was really quite felt really luxurious, and made me feel quite sexy, even though I was just had my eyes closed, and I was sort of in the element kind of thing, if you understand what I mean. And it was really fun experience. I really quite enjoyed it. So they do both provide different sensations. So I think they set the mood for different things, whatever you're going for, really. So I think that's great, as well as you're protecting your bed from fluids getting into the sheets and things like that. It does work as well as you would hope it does. On the satiny side, things like lube and bodily fluids kind of pool into it, which is really quite cool when you look at it. I didn't take any pictures with fluids on it or any lube pooling on it, because I just think that's a bit strange for me. I wouldn't really show my fluids on camera or anything like that. Maybe one day in pictures, I'm not really sure, but I just don't think my fluids are that photographic, or photogenic, I should say. So I did have a kind of a little story about why I decided to use the Throe at this particular point. Last week around, I think it was Tuesday, I'm not quite sure on the actual day, but my period decided to have a surprise visit, as it so often does, even though I have a fucking calendar where I can track things, but it just appears whenever it wants to, so I wasn't really expecting that at all. And before it arrived, I was in the middle of testing a couple of toys that needed reviewing, and then it appeared, and I just thought, oh fuck, because I don't often use toys while on my period. It's just not something I do because I'm quite sore and sensitive. My cervix is just really sensitive, and I avoid it because other than that, the fact that it makes a mess of my bed, it's just that I can't thrust the way I want to, because because my cervix just doesn't like really rough sort of attention when it's so sensitive, so I have to stop. So which is why I don't use toys in my period that often. But since I have quite a big backlog of toys that need reviewing, I decided to use a toy while on my period anyway. And I kept thinking, I really don't want to ruin a towel, because it's just awkward to have to get the stains out, and then just all of that is, the cleanup makes me feel really exhausted, even though I've never actually decided to clean up anything, because I've never used anything while on my period. But then I remembered that I had the Throe in my wardrobe. So I thought, well, since I haven't used it yet, this would be a good time to use it, considering that I'm on my period. So I used it, and then I was kind of expecting my sheets to still be stained. I didn't think that the Throe would actually work. Sorry, the way that people say it does, because sometimes things are like not gimmick free. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to give the Throe a bad reputation at all, but it's just the way I think of things like this. They advertise as things being waterproof or something like that, and they not usually often are. But the Throe is an exception to that, and I found that it is waterproof and it works exactly the way it says it does. And the stains of my blood just washed fine once I threw it into the dryer, well, the wash, and I pulled it back out and all the stains were gone. And also body fluids and lube, they were gone as well, so it's not just blood, I assure you. And I know that often people want a Throe or something that actually is fully waterproof because they ejaculate and it's just a mess for their bed, obviously. So, which is why the Throe is quite a coveted item between people who are bloggers and also people who are just looking for something like that. I think the reason why most people don't have one, a lot of people don't have one, is because it's quite expensive. So that would be a problem, and I can understand why it's quite expensive for what it is, but I still recommend it, absolutely 100% recommend it, because it really has changed masturbation sessions for me, and I adore it so much. It's amazing. I don't use it that often because honestly I'm a really lazy person and I just can't be bothered to drag out a waterproof blanket and place it on my bed and then having to do everything else that goes along with my masturbation sessions. But on the times I do use it, I'm really happy that I have one, because it really is just one of the best things I've ever had in my entire life. I'm sure there are lots of good inexpensive options for the Throe. I think I've seen a couple, but so it is worth looking around if you can't really afford a Throe, or you just don't really have the you can't really save up at the moment, which I completely understand. But if you do get the chance to save up, or you have some spare money around, then I do extremely recommend buying the Throe or investing in it, because it really is just fabulous. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. It really does wash out quite easily, so if you just have any doubts that it might not wash out or something like that, because I know some people might have, then there's nothing to worry about, honestly, because there is no stains on it afterwards after you've used it. So yeah, I completely recommend the Throe, and I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll be back with another one. I am doing some more testing of dildos that I need to do, so I will be back with some more video reviews, probably later on in the coming week. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.